Welcome to the fight game. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and the fight game is sponsored by Rayon Cognac. Join the movement. Check out the ticker down below where you can contact us on the website and also when you can contact us to become a sponsor on one of our shows. Had a few boxing matches last night, and this is February 22nd, and the fights took place on February 21st. Of course, Garcia beats Burroughs and cruises to the WBC welterweight title. You have Russell against Hakura, or am I saying his name right? Hakaroki?
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah,
Hiroki.
yeah,
And yeah, he lost every round, seemed like, but it was still a good fight. He was contending. And then Frank Martin against Albright. And I want to see that again and ended up in a draw. But I know we're going to talk about this later. But one of the things I was mentioning before we got on the air was that this was supposed to be a pay per view, all the fights, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth pay per view. And so this should have been on a boxing network or network TV because to me, Garcia is good. I'll give him his credit, but he's not good enough to be pay per view at this particular point, even though he's the WBC champion, welterweight champion at this particular point. Your thoughts on the fight, man?
yeah. Ryan Garcia, a lot of people did not think he would show up. Barrios was a champion. We were questioning what Barrios would show up because of what he did last time out, or actually when he fought Pacquiao, right? But the one thing about Ryan Garcia, he needed to step up and show that he was ready because he had I wouldn't say lackluster performance, but he seemed defeated, really defeated when he actually lost to Rolly Romero. So people were wondering, like, this is supposed to be a fight we thought you were going to win. So this is another opportunity. And I think that Garcia was running out of chances because the excuses. Because people like, if you really say you're good as you are, why should you keep getting opportunities? So what he did, he came out initially and did what he does. He used his left hand as a jab, which is unprecedented for a lot of people, and he knocked Barrios down in the first round. And then it was on from there. He just went on and continued to move forward, dominating. And Barrios was trying to come back, but Ryan wasn't having it. Started feeling really good about himself and knew he was winning the fight. So he got the job done. And with it, he was able to secure the WBC welterweight championship of the world, which was major for him because he's not really been one to have a title, but he has one now and it's gonna open the door for him a lot. But that's what he was able to do. He literally was dominant. He might have won every round.
Yeah, that's what the scorecard said that he won every round. But there are four different title holders in that weight class, and I know you rattled them off before. Who are the other three title holders in that weight class?
Yeah, so in that weight class, you have Rolly Romero is the WA champion at 147. WBO champion is Devin Haney, right? And the IBF champion is Lewis Crocker.
Out of the UK. And so
Yes.
I can't see, and we talked about this earlier, I can't see Haney and Garcia fighting again. I don't think Haney wants that fight, to be honest with you. After the last time, I don't care what's on his record, the 33 and 0. We all saw that fight. It's 32 and 1. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. Drugs or not, he whooped your butt. I mean, he whooped that ass that night. So I don't see him. I think he got trauma off that fight. I don't see him doing it anymore. But Garcia called out Shakur Stevenson. I don't think that's going to happen. I think these guys are going to. The only thing I think will happen is Rolly Romero will fight one of these guys, and the UK champion will fight one of these guys, and then Conor Ben may jump into the mix. But I don't see the usual suspects fighting each other after what happened in the first Haney Garcia fight, unless there's a lot of money put up. Now that would be a pay per view event, in my opinion. That would be more pay per view. Last night was not worth a pay per view event. So we had our troubles. I know I had my troubles keeping the fight on. I ain't gonna say why, but because this is recorded and I don't want to be recorded. Whatever. Your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I'll say this. I know you mentioned that there's a possibility that some of these guys won't fight for whatever reason. I think it's time for Turkey, whoever has that money to kind of pull it out. The boxing fans, and I'm considering myself a boxing fan, we deserve to see the rematch of Devin Haney versus Garcia. We need deserve that. The other caveat about it too is now that they are both holding or reigning champions at 147 makes it even more. It's more lucrative, right? Makes it more exciting. We need to see that. And whatever you need to do from rehydration or testing or whatever you need to do to feel comfortable, we've learned from our mistakes, right? Even the great Bill Haney said he knew he should not have put his son in there when that man told him he was overweight. But yet, because you beat him, you fought him 6 times in the amateurs, and you were the person that won the majority of them, you all of a sudden wanted to prove everybody that you could defeat this man, and you got a rude awakening. Should make you even more want to prove the critics wrong. And as you mentioned about being the Devin Haney era, it's time for you to get back in there and show the world what you did. If Rolly Romero can knock him out or stop, not so much stopping, but for at least win a decision, you can't do the same thing. If you say that's who you are, that's a fight I want to see. Because I really do like Devin Haney. I appreciate his skill set. But we need to see this fight. And if you say you're better than that, man, it's time to step to him and take whatever test you need to do, whatever things, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But you need to, as they say in the modern day world, since you got beat the first time, you need to come here and put belt to ass and show us who you are. I'm just saying. That's what I want to see. I don't want to hear his dad talking about whatever. This is something that happened. You took an L in a lot of people's eyes. This is the way that you rectify what people, how you remove the damage that was done to your career and you rectify who you are and show the people who you are. Come in here, put belt to ass, and let's get it and show the people. And I'm still Devin Haney. If you don't do that, you bounce. You can do whatever you want to, but you bouncing around. That's a thing. I think you fight. You need to come and see what you need to say. Same thing. Go back to when we look at Shakur Stevenson. Everybody said he never fought anybody. You need to fight somebody. You fought. He fought Teofimo Lopez and dominated him. Now all of a sudden he's number 3 pound for pound fighter in the world. You sometimes you got to take the step and do what you have to do. And that's what I'm gonna say about that particular fight. Anything else from that standpoint? I know they mentioned Conor Benn. Conor Benn somehow or another had just fought at middleweight and now he dropped down to being the number 1 contender for Ryan Garcia's belt at one WBC. How they do that? How you get that? And now he's just coming in trying to get a belt because even though he's 24-1, I believe it is, he hasn't done anything significant. He beat Eubanks, but you haven't done anything significant. And now he's looking around, challenging Shakur, doing all this other stuff. So do what you want to do as far as Conor Benn. Go after Rolly Romero because you know that's what you want to do because you think that's the easiest way. But these belts are out here. Devin Haney, as you said, Lewis Crocker. I love to see that fight with Conor Benn. But there's so many fights we can make. And if Shakur wants to step up at 147, great. But everybody must know it's going to be a rehydration clause. And we know Devin Haney don't want to do that. We also know Garcia don't want to do that either. You don't want to do that because you know when you do that, if you are on something or you trying to perpetrate mass something, allegedly, it's coming out. Because you cannot be that small coming down or come back at that rehydration clause and whatever. You can call Shakur Stevenson a punk or whatever, but whatever. He wants to make sure that if I come and fight you at 147, I'll come in, I'm at 143, and you at 175, at light heavyweight. Say what you want to, but there are some amazing possibilities of fights out there. I just rattled off the champions to you. We need to continue to demand what's there. They've been on a good roll. Turkey said he has the money. Let's get it done. Let's get it done because the fans deserve it. We need to get back to what was amazing and we can have good fights.
Speaking of what we deserve and what we don't deserve, Mayweather comes out of retirement to fight Mike Tyson in April. I, you and I talked about this offline. I really don't want to talk about this. If Floyd is really serious about coming back, then he'll fight someone in his weight class to come back. But I look at it as a joke, and it's a money grab. And if you guys need the money, you won't be getting mine. But if you guys need the money and people are willing to pay for it, God bless you.
No doubt. And I said I wasn't gonna talk about it, but here you put it out anyway. But
Yeah.
that's okay. Here's the thing. It's entertainment. If Mike Tyson's fighting again in if he's at the boys club, it's a money grab, it's entertainment. It's not boxing. It's exhibition. And that's okay. You can do that. You get the money. If everybody wants to buy into it for reality TV, have at it. But until Floyd, as he says, if he's unretiring, comes back, schedules a real boxing match against somebody of significance, then I kind of have a hard time with it. Now, I will say this real quick, because I know we have probably some other things to talk about. If Keith Thurman loses to Fundora or he beats Fundora, whatever it is, I would love to see Floyd Mayweather fight Keith Thurman.
Hmm.
That's a fight from 100 years ago. Keith Thurman always said Floyd was ducking him. I think Floyd gets in the right shape, even though he over whatever he is age wise. I think with his skill set, he would come in and still dominate Keith Thurman. I would like to see that fight on the old man circuit, but that's neither here nor there because I think Fundora is going to put him down. But yeah, that's something I like to see.
Do you think Floyd is doing this because he needs money?
I had a conversation with some lovely gentlemen last night about this, and one would think no, but then again, you go, well, why else would you do it? But when we say he needs money, what does that mean? Let's okay, from the average person, right? The money he has, or whatever he feels, if he's below, as far as his standards, money wise, it would be it would fulfill us for a couple lifetimes, right? But my question is this: if he's doing it for the money, one has to ask yourself, with all, and we're not in the business, we just saying what we see or what we hear. Why wouldn't you take time to privately liquidate some assets? I'm talking about your cars, some of them homes, all that stuff you to the average person they don't think you need. How many cars do you need, bruh? You couldn't liquidate some of them cars and get the cash for it and then put yourself back where you want to be. But again, I'm not in that man business. But the average man thinking wise, which is why we're not in that position, would think otherwise. But then again, I don't know. And that's what maybe Floyd loves, keeping us guessing. So we keep tuning in.
Earl Spence Jr. and Tizoo are getting together maybe later this year. And I'm really worried about Earl Spence Jr., whether or not he is still able to fight. Because after that accident, it took a lot out of him. After the fight with Terrence Crawford, you just saw he just wasn't the same fighter anymore. Your thoughts on Errol Spence Jr. coming back and to Zoo? I think it's a fight he can win, but will we see the old Errol Spence Jr.?
That's the $1 million question. I don't know. I mean, they say he's been in the gym working out. Is he capable of coming back to that level? But if he's coming back, which I'm glad to see, if he's going to come back, he's decided he has. So this is the type of fight he needs to take. Tim Tszyu has been at one point was a top-notch fighter, but recently he seems like he's a little bit off kilter. He's like in the middle. It's not top tier, but he's in the middle. So in order for Errol Spence Jr. to come back, you need to get your feet wet. Same way what Keith Thurman did before when he came back, he kind of got his feet wet a little bit to see if he still has it. And then that way, I think this is a fight. But both of these guys, if they're going to come back, it's perfect for both of them. Because I think they're like on the same level when I look at it. Tim Zoo's been struggling. We haven't seen Terrence Crawford. I'm sorry. Ooh, I said Terrence Crawford. We have not seen Errol Spence Jr. That's a flashback. I think I'm still shook from that last fight they had. But we have not seen Errol Spence Jr. From that standpoint fight. And 3 years is a long time, as you mentioned before. I think there was a lot of damage from the accidents that he ran into, some other stuff that was going on with him. And we thought he would just shake it off normally, but I think he did more damage than we thought. So I think it's an excellent fight for him and for Zoo. I will watch this fight just to kind of make sure, but I hope whatever happens that we either find out what we need to and nobody's hurt too bad.
Last thing I'm gonna ask is about the Carissa Shields fight later on today, and your thoughts on it. Because I have no thoughts on it. I'm not a big fan, and and I'm not going to say anything bad. I think she wants a lot of attention, but I think, and I may be get in trouble with this, but boxing is a male sport and is dominated by males. And so all the adulation she's looking for, she's really not going to get.
You getting in
I
trouble.
said it. I said it. I'm going to be real and say that.
You gonna get in trouble. They coming for you. I'll say this. Boxing, as you said, has been seen more or less as a male dominated sport. But once women started boxing, start getting into it a little bit, she is shown to be one of the best. And maybe that's because there's not a lot of people who have come before her. We know about Layla Ali prior to that. And then, of course, we always thought they would fight, but they just simply can't because she's too older. She's too much older, whatever. But she's been pretty dominant. I think the biggest issue for Clarissa Shields is the factor that she has run the gamut of who she can fight that may be considered a true contender, a true opponent that can challenge her. And now she's kind of circling the wagons, going back to people she fought when she first came in and trying to make it. It's hard to find her an opponent that can challenge her. So therefore, people, even like myself, question, okay, now what are we watching? Why could I get hyped up? This person can't challenge you. So do you have a right to make that kind of money? And she has a right to receive the accolades as the best, the GOAT, if you will? Yeah, she does. But we are running out of people for her to fight. Now what? And that's my only concern about it. It's not your fault. It's kind of like when we look at men from the men's side. Larry Holmes, for years, had a stellar record. He fought who he could fight. If the talent's not there for you to fight, what are you supposed to do? You still have to keep winning. But then when they start talking about greatness and whatnot, people start looking at you, unfortunately, to who you fought.
Here's why I said what I said up top, because we have this discussion about the WNBA all the time. And why the WNBA, they're demanding the money that the NBA makes, but it doesn't make sense economically. So if there is a heavyweight male fight or whatever weight class male fight, who are you going to watch? The male fight, or are you going to watch Clarissa Shields? I'm watching the male fight. It's a better boxing. It's more superior athletes in that, and I'm just not going to watch it. Just like I wouldn't watch the WNBA. I can't tell you the last time I watched a WNBA game. I cannot tell you the last time I watched it. But if I had a choice, if I'm sitting in front of my TV and there's a WNBA game up against a NBA game, guess what I'm watching, bro? And I'm just keeping it real. The money ain't out there. The fans are out there. They really don't care about it. And she did her fight on Sunday. Kudos to her. It's good marketing because nobody else is really, there are a few people fighting, but not the big name fighters that are fighting. But I'm not interested in watching it. I'm not. And this is a rematch of somebody you already beat. I'm not interested. And so if she's looking for all that money and adulation from a male dominated sport, I'm keeping it real. There's no interest in it. I have no interest. And I'm a boxing fan. And I watched some of the boxers that, we watched the boxing in Madison Square Garden with the two ladies that fought. That was a big event. But maybe she's run out of bullets in her gun, like you said, as far as the competition. Her personality and the way she kind of puts herself out there, it just doesn't make it marketable for me to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm hyped up. I want to watch it. No, I'm going to find something else to do this Sunday afternoon. I'll see the results of it, but I'm just not interested.
I get it. I mean, you mentioned also about WNBA. I've always told you, in my opinion, about WNBA, and there's a reason why they play in the spring because they don't think they can compete even with women's college basketball in the fall or in the winter. There's a reason for that, and it has its place, it has its niche. Doesn't mean they don't deserve to be there and make the money and play. Sure, all
Yeah,
that. I think
making
the
money,
same
do
thing
what you
is
got to do. But
I think the same thing though is with not all women's boxing because I enjoy some women's boxing. But I think you have to have a niche. I think, as you mentioned before, Clarissa Shields is the factor that you run out of opponents. You need to go maybe somewhere else and find somebody out of a backyard brawl or something that just can throw hands. It's hard to sell that product. And at the end of the day, people want to see something that's really intriguing. The ladies that fought before, and they really have intriguing matches. Lisa Baumgarten at least has somebody in the class that is a threat to her. Clarissa, you clean everything out. You clean everybody out. Now it's like you get in there, we expect you to win, and if you don't win by dominating, kind of went, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Why don't you just dominate her? And now you add in the social media stuff because now you're a pseudo celebrity, and now you're concerned about that. And
It's,
yeah, a bunch. It's just like a bunch of mess, and we get away from the athlete to where we're at now. So
yeah.
I get it. It's almost like watching entertainment boxing, like we talked about before.
Yeah. And I truly believe, and sister, go make your money, do what you got to do to make your money. I ain't getting in
Mhm.
the way of that. If you can make money tonight or wherever you fight, make your money. But I think her career has ran its course. I really do. And all the drama that's behind it, I saw an interview with all the drama with the family and all that stuff. Men don't like that in sports. Men, you're not going to get men following drama in sports. We want to watch the game, and that's it. We don't follow drama. If we follow drama, we'd be watching soap operas and novellas and all that stuff. We don't do that. We don't do that. We want sports for us as an escape from the drama and all the things that happen in life. That's my escape. But if you add drama to it, I don't want that. I'll turn away from it. And maybe that excites some of her fan base, but for most of the males that I have talked to, it's like, who? Nah, I'm good. And maybe it's time to walk away and maybe train some other fighters or do something else. But her course as a fighter, being out there competing, I think she's ran her course. She's she's got to the pinnacle, and that's it. It's not going to get better than this.
No, I get that 100%. I think, like I told you, I ran my course with the exhibitions and also the fantasy boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that once Paul got knocked out by old boy, it was like it was a wrap. I
Yeah.
mean, now I think for a lot of people it's a wrap. We've been waiting on that. We let you push the story out there for so long and what you thought you could possibly do and who you were, but then actually you reached the climax, right? Game over. Game over. So now you're doing everything you can to try to act like like people still care. Some of your fans might, and great. But as far as the real boxing fans, as they said, you got knocked the fuck out. So I mean, we done with you. We let you play in the sandbox, even though you didn't belong in there. You should have been at the kids' table. But now you got into the real thing. And unless you come back and do something extraordinary, really, we done with you. What else? You got in with a real fighter. You ran, you did whatever you hyped everybody, you food Netflix, you got your money. I ain't mad. Game recognized game. You are a hell of a marketer. You made your money. You got Mike Tyson, you got all these other people, but now the jig is up. You got exposed, and real boxing fans are done.
Yeah. You got anything else?
Other than that, I just want to say one last thing because we did have a couple fights, those other fights you mentioned about Gary Antoine Russell, right? And his fight and then also with Frank Martin that fought as well. Both of those guys supposed to be high expectations and whatnot. Expect them to rise to the occasion and really be dominant. But even though Antoine Russell won the fight, his opponent was right there and he was giving him all the business. So it makes you wonder as to how you keep calling out all these people, which I love the Russell family, but you're starting not giving us that quality performance we're looking for. So how can we keep really thinking you deserve that opportunity when you're struggling on a lower level? And Frank Martin, when you think about fighting against Nahir Albright, he almost got knocked out at the end. And people are like, who the hell's Nahir Albright? Let me help you. Nahir Albright is the guy that fought Keyshawn Davis and lost in the decision, came back, went to Norfolk, fought his brother, beat his brother. Then all of that drama where they wanted to jump, allegedly jump him and everything comes on. Then he gets his fight with Frank Martin, and for the most part was winning the fight until our buddy of the show, Buddy McGirt in the corner, tells Frank Martin, basically wake the heck up and start doing what you're supposed to do. And he did do that, which allowed him to at least get closer to earn the draw. But near the end of the last round, Frank Martin almost got knocked out. So we need to, I think it should be a requirement that we have some of these boxers earn the right to play in with the big boys. Till then, do your work, do what you have to do, keep rising up to climbing up the ladder. But don't expect that you deserve to be a champion or face this top-notch guy when on the lower end, you're struggling. You're struggling to perform and give us quality what we deserve. That's all I'm saying.
He's Icewater. I'm Puma, and this is the Fight Game.